So the fun continues. Now it's time to make us some gravy. So I got 4 tablespoons of butter over here. Alright, and this morning I put in a Dutch oven, I put a pound of stew beef and a half a carton of beef broth in a Dutch oven. And I started it at 10 and it was done about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I let it cook low and slow on 200. And then when it came out of the oven, I separated the liquid from the beef and I just shredded it, okay? Because I just think it's good that way. Just shred it up so that it will distribute throughout your gravy mixture. And so now I've got this heating up, and I'm going to do equal parts butter and equal parts flour. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter there and about a quarter or a third a cup of flour or whatever. And so I'm just waiting on the butter to melt. I'm going to grab my whisk and I'm going to start making gravy as soon as this melts. So I got my butter melted, y'all, and I'm going to add this here flour and give it a stir, alright? And I'm going to turn my heat down to about medium, alright? Oh my goodness, everything's just going crazy on me here. I don't know what to think. Let me get... Okay, alrighty then. So I'm going to get this well mixed together. And then once it starts to brown a little bit, I'm going to start adding liquid. And this here is a 2-quart bowl, and it's about half full. So that's about a quart of liquid there. And what I'll probably end up doing is adding some more liquid, but I'm going to start with this right here. And I'm just going to add a little at a time. Okay? Because I want a nice smooth gravy. Then I'm just going to be adding stuff to it, and then it won't be smooth no more. What am I thinking? Now I'm going to be adding peas and carrots to mine. But you don't have to add anything. Some people just add some onion or just some brown butter. And there's also a milk gravy that can be served with this. But I saw the recipe and the milk gravy just didn't excite me at all. I thought that's probably more for maybe children or something. I don't know. Well, I'm sure adults like it too. I'm sure adults like it too. But the recipe just didn't appeal to me. Okay. I don't like real spicy food, but that looked way too bland even for me. So, yeah, I think after I add this liquid, I think I'm going to end up adding more beef broth, maybe a little water. I don't know, because I don't know if I have any more beef broth. So anyway, I need to bring this up. I need to bring the heat up so that I can figure out how much more liquid to add. Now that's something about making gravy. You can follow a recipe. There's all kind of recipes for gravy. But the best gravy, in my opinion, is just made from, you know, little of this, little of that. Now you can form whatever opinion you want. That's mine. So alrighty then. I think I am going to add about a half a carton of beef broth. Alright. And I'm going to bring it to a boil again. Because I want me just a little bit more gravy. And you know what you can do if it ain't thick enough? You can melt some more butter and add flour and stir it together and put it in a pot. Put it in here and stir it up. And that's how you thicken your gravy. Cooking is all about control. It's about knowing what to do and when. Okay? And so, once you get the hang of it, you'll find that you don't have such a need for hard and fast recipes. There are some things that, you know, a pretty structured recipe is demanded, and then there's things like gravy that you can adjust because, you know, you might come across a recipe and it tells you that it makes 6 servings, and you get into it and you're like, well, this ain't going to feed my family of 6. What am I going to do? Well, you just got to double up your batch. You got to add stuff. You got, you know, that's just how it is, you know. Of course, my family is small. I have a husband. I have a son. That's it. So, you know, that's been a challenge because most recipes is made for families of 4. And, you know, ain't got 4, got 3. So, there you have it. So I'm going to let this come to a boil, and then I'm going to decide if I have to add flour and butter, if I have to make another roux and add to this to thicken it. So alrighty then, I decided to thicken my gravy. It's not thick enough, okay, by just adding another little batch of roux, because when I doubled the liquid amount, you know, that called for having to adjust this. I just want a lot of gravy is what it amounts to. You ain't got to do this. Or you can double the gravy recipe. You know, however you want to do it. So there we go. So I just did 4 tablespoons of butter and about a 1/4 cup of flour, 1/3, something like that. And I'm just making a little roux. Alright. And then I'll just dump it over here. Okay. There we go, and I'll heat it up and I'll give it a stir, and that will thicken our. So what do we got here? We got this beautiful gravy. All right, I'm gonna turn the eye off, and we're going to add this here beef. All right, we're gonna give that a stir. All right, and this is completely optional. You do not have to do this. Okay. This is something that I add because I like it. And that's like a 1/2 bag of peas and carrots. That'd be like, this is a 12-ounce bag, and so that's what, 6 ounces, not even a cup. Okay? I just do that for color. I just like the color of it, alright? So humor me. Then I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to start working on my pierogies. And those are going to be the Boova Shenkel, or what's called little boy's legs. And they are just absolutely delicious. You guys are going to love this. If you haven't tried this, you must. I couldn't wait to get to my grandmother's house when I was a kid because I knew that she was going to make Boova Shenkel. Because I knew that she knew that I loved it. And she loved me, and that's why she made it for me. So now it's time to assemble these little, what I call little pockets of love, okay? And you just take your circle and you put it on your empanada press, and then you kind of stretch it over to make sure that it goes all the way to the edges. And then you're going to need a tablespoons thing here, all right? And you're going to put about, I would say 2 to 3 tablespoons in the center, okay? Alrighty. You have to be careful because if you put too much, your dough might break, okay? I would say 2.5 is enough, alright? And then you want to flatten it. And like I said, you can do these by hand too. You don't have to use all these fancy new age gadgets like empanada presses, right? You don't got to do all that. Okay, and then you're going to need some water because you got to run it around the edges right here to seal your dumplings. So let me grab some water here. Little teeny cute little cup of water like that. Okay, then I'm just going to run around the edges like that. Alright. And then I'm going to close my empanada press after I get all the edges wet. Okay. You can use egg wash also to do that. Okay, let me make sure this is spread evenly. Actually, I can put just a little more. So let's just say 3 tablespoons. Alright. 3 tablespoons goes in the middle. Okay. And I really like this dough recipe because it is a very nice stretchy dough. So, you know, and it's going to hold up well under these conditions. So then I'm going to close my press. Alright, and then open it. And then look at that cute little darling right there. Okay, and that little half moon shape, that little, right there, that looks like the calf of a little boy's leg. And so that's why they're called Boova Shenkel, or little boy's legs. Isn't that just precious? So I'm going to finish making these. And you're going to have some potato filling left, okay? That looks like maybe a cup and a half. And I would just bake that up. I'd just put it in a small dish and bake it and just serve it as a side dish with something. That's enough for me and my husband for a side dish. Okay, just a little tip. While you're working with these, put them on a well-floured surface, okay? Because it just makes them easier to work with. They won't stick as much, you know, because if it's hot or something in the kitchen, you know, they could get like flimsy and hard to handle. So that's just like a little tip. Okay, I'm probably about to start a war, but there's 2 ways that you can make Boova Shenkel. Boova Shenkel gets its name from the shape of these pierogies or dumplings, and it's the half moon shape or the calf of the leg, the little boy's leg. So anyway, so it doesn't matter if you boil them or bake them, both are Boova Shenkel, as long as it consists of some kind of gravy or brown butter or even milk gravy or whatever. The first version I'm going to do is baked, and so I have this gravy mixture, okay, with the shredded stewed beef and the peas and carrots, okay, and I'm going to be using individual casseroles for this, but you don't have to do that. You can put this all in one big casserole. It won't hurt a thing. And I'm just going to spray it with cooking spray, all right? And then I'm going to take, these are 6-inch in diameter, by the way. I'm just going to take about maybe 4 scoops of this, maybe 5, something like that. Maybe even 6. But this is a 1/2-inch scoop. Looks like, let's see, let me count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what, 2½ cups? And you notice it's a really nice thick gravy. Okay, it doesn't matter what recipe you use, as long as if you're going to do it this way, if you're going to bake them, you want this mixture to be thick, because the dumplings or the pierogies or the Boova Shenkel, the little boy's legs, are going to sit on top, and you don't want them sinking down, okay, into the liquid. And so I'm going to put them kind of back to back, okay, like so. And then I'm going to cover them, okay. And I'm trying to remember where I got these. I'll put the link in the description box below. That's what I'll do, because I can't remember right offhand. I'll have to look it up. And so I'm going to put these in the oven that's been preheated to 350. You can also put egg wash on top of these, by the way. I'll probably end up doing that. I'm not sure. Sometimes I have to, sometimes I don't. So I'm just going to see how they do without it. I'm going to give these a check in about 20 minutes. It usually takes around 40 minutes to do it, to make Boova Shenkel using this method, as far as using the individual casseroles go. Now you can also put it in a great big pot, like a Dutch oven, Okay, and you can make much larger pierogies. Okay, like this size. Like one would be, I guess this is about 10 inches in diameter. So you would need to cut your circles about this size. You know, if you wanted to serve it more family style in a pot like this. That is if you're going to use the baked method for Boova Shenkel. Now I'm getting ready to show you the boiled method. Okay, so now we're going to go with the boiled method. Okay, so I have my stock pot on the stove here, and I'm going to add half a carton of beef broth. Oh, I've got some smoking from something. I don't know. I must have left something on the I'll just let it burn itself off. Maybe I should open the door or something, let the smoke out. Who knows? So anyway, so I'll do that. So that's half a carton of beef broth. Alright, I'm obviously going to need to add some water. Okay, so I've got half a carton of beef broth, and I'm about to add a saucepan full of water, and that's probably a 2-quart. Looks like a 2-quart to me. Well, lo and behold, on the bottom it says 2 quarts. Alrighty then, so I'm going to bring this to a boil, and you know what my naughty grandma would do? She would also pour a can of beer in there. She liked her beer, okay, and I don't blame her. So anyway, oh my goodness, what have I done? I'm about to start a fire. So anyway,